Have you ever tried so hard to make something happen, only to watch it slip further away? Maybe it was a relationship you desperately wanted to fix, a job you thought was your dream, or that elusive success you've been chasing. It's frustrating, isn't it? The harder you push, the more it seems to drift beyond your grasp. But here's a question for you. What if the key to finally finding peace and even success is to stop forcing it? This idea isn't new. In fact, ancient philosophers like the Stoics believed that letting go isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. They taught us that sometimes life flows best when we stop trying to fight the current. In this video, we're going to explore how letting go can unlock clarity, resilience, and peace in your life. So if you've ever felt stuck or overwhelmed, stick around, because this might just change how you see the world. Let's dive in. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like the harder you try to make something happen, the more it slips away? Maybe you've been in a relationship where no matter how much effort you put in, it felt like you were only pushing the other person further away. Or maybe it was a job, a goal, or even your own definition of success. The frustration of trying to force outcomes is something we all know too well. But here's a perspective that might change everything. What if true strength doesn't come from controlling everything, but from letting go? The Stoics, ancient philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, believed that peace and clarity come when we stop resisting the natural flow of life. They taught that by accepting what we cannot control and focusing on what we can, we free ourselves from unnecessary struggle. Think about it. What if instead of fighting to shape every moment to your will, you trusted life's rhythm? The key isn't giving up. It's choosing to flow instead of forcing, adapting instead of resisting. And that's what we're exploring today, the Stoic superpower of letting go. Stay with me, because this might be exactly what you need to hear. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You're honking the horn, tapping your fingers on the wheel, glancing anxiously at the clock. But no matter what you do, the cars ahead don't move. Frustrating, right? Now let's pause for a moment and ask, did all that stress change the situation? Of course not. And that's where the wisdom of the Stoics shines through. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that while we can't control external events, like traffic or other people's actions, we can always control our mindset and response. Here's the empowering part. When you shift your focus from what's outside your control to what's within it, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Instead of fighting traffic, you could use that time to reflect, listen to an audiobook, or simply breathe. It's not about giving up. It's about recognizing where your power truly lies. Life is full of situations like this. The more we try to control the uncontrollable, the more we lose our peace. But when we let go, we find clarity and strength. So, what's something in your life you've been holding on to too tightly? What would change if you chose to let go? Have you ever found yourself trying too hard to make something or someone fit into your life? Maybe it's texting someone endlessly, overthinking every word, trying to force a connection. But instead of drawing them closer, you notice they seem to drift further away. Why does this happen? It's because force creates resistance. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, put it perfectly. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. In other words, the more you fight against the natural flow of life, the more it fights back. Think about it. When you grip sand tightly in your hand, most of it slips away. But when you relax your hand, the sand stays. Relationships, opportunities, and even success work the same way. The harder you force them, the more elusive they become. So instead of forcing outcomes, try a different approach. Let life flow. Trust that what's meant for you will come in its own time. Take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, am I fighting for this because it's truly right for me, or because I'm afraid of letting go? Sometimes, letting go isn't losing. It's finding clarity, peace, and the space for something better. Have you ever held on to something so tightly that it ended up slipping away? Imagine scooping up a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the faster the grains escape through your fingers. But if you hold your hand open, the sand rests peacefully in your palm. Life, too, works this way. When we become overly attached, whether it's to people, outcomes, or even our own status, we unknowingly create fear and anxiety. Fear of losing what we hold dear. Anxiety over controlling what was never ours to control in the first place. Letting go isn't about giving up or walking away. It's about freeing yourself from the chains of attachment. It's about creating space for things to unfold naturally. When you stop trying to dictate how life should be, you open yourself up to how life could be. Unexpected, beautiful, and far beyond anything you could have imagined. So, ask yourself, what are you holding on to too tightly right now? A goal, a relationship, an idea of who you're supposed to be. What might happen if you simply loosened your grip? You might just find that peace comes not from control, but from trust. The trust that what's meant for you will find its way to you, no forcing required. Have you ever stopped to watch a tree grow? It doesn't rush. It doesn't try to force its blossoms to bloom in the dead of winter or demand the seasons change. It simply follows the rhythm of nature, growing at its own pace, in harmony with the world around it. This isn't just a lesson from nature. It's a blueprint for life. Too often, we want things to happen on our schedule. We want success now, love immediately, and solutions yesterday. But life has its own timing, and just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Think of moments in your life when patience paid off. Maybe it was a career opportunity that came when you were finally ready, or a relationship that blossomed after years of growth. The point is, rushing doesn't create results. It creates frustration. When we learn to trust the process, we find peace in the waiting. Instead of demanding life bend to our will, we start to see the beauty in its unpredictability. So the next time you feel the urge to force an outcome, pause and ask yourself, what might unfold if you simply allowed life to happen in its own time? Sometimes, the best things come not when we chase them, but when we're ready to receive them. Let's imagine an archer for a moment. Their job is to prepare the bow, take aim, and release the arrow with precision. But once that arrow is in the air, they no longer control where it lands. The wind, the target's movement, these are all factors beyond their influence. Does the archer panic or force the situation? They focus on what they can control: their aim, their form, and their timing. This metaphor teaches us something profound about life. Taking action is essential, but it's the type of action that matters. When we act out of wisdom, not desperation, we set ourselves up for the best outcomes, even if those outcomes don't align perfectly with our expectations. Think about your own life. Have you ever worked tirelessly on something only to feel frustrated when the result didn't go your way? Maybe it's because the effort was filled with a need to control every detail. But here's the truth. You don't need to control everything. Focus on the process, not the outcome. When you approach your goals with calm determination and let go of the need to force results, you create space for possibilities you may not have even imagined. Trust the effort you've put in, and like the archer, release the arrow without worrying about where it will land. The wind may surprise you in beautiful ways. Let me share something timeless from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that for a moment. How often do we let external chaos, unexpected delays, someone's rude comment, or life's curveballs disrupt our peace? The truth is, peace doesn't come from controlling the world around us. It comes from accepting what we can't control and focusing on what we can. Imagine being stuck in traffic. You can honk, shout, or stress, but none of that will move the cars faster. Or you can choose to breathe deeply, play your favorite song, and accept the delay? Which version of you feels lighter, calmer? This isn't just about traffic, it's about life. When you stop fighting battles you were never meant to win, like changing someone's opinion of you or controlling every outcome, you create space for real strength. Letting go isn't giving up. It's understanding that you're not here to wrestle with the world. You're here to align with it. And in that alignment lies the peace we all crave. Let's face it, life is unpredictable. And while that can feel unsettling, it's also what makes it beautiful. Uncertainty isn't just chaos, it's possibility. It's the space where growth happens, where we discover who we truly are. Think about it. When was the last time something unexpected happened in your life? Maybe it was losing a job, a relationship ending, or even a sudden change of plans. At first, it felt like the ground was shifting beneath your feet, right? But then, over time, you found a new path, a better one perhaps, than you ever imagined. Here's the thing. Every great story, every breakthrough starts in the unknown. It's like stepping into a dark room with only the hope of finding light. And that hope? That's where courage lives. So what if we stopped fearing uncertainty and started welcoming it? What if we saw it not as something to avoid, but as an invitation to explore? Because within that uncertainty lies the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become something greater than we were before. What new doors are waiting for you, just on the other side of the unknown? So here's the takeaway. Life isn't meant to be forced. When we try to control every detail, we're swimming against the current, exhausting ourselves in the process. But when we let go, when we trust the flow of life, that's when things begin to align. Happiness, success, even inner peace. They're not prizes you win by pushing harder. They're rewards for trusting the process, for being patient, and for focusing on what you can truly control: your mindset, your actions, your response to life's challenges. And here's my challenge for you. The next time you feel yourself trying to force something, whether it's a relationship, a goal, or even a conversation, pause. Ask yourself, am I fighting the current, or can I let this flow naturally? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more timeless wisdom inspired by Stoic philosophy. And remember, don't force it. Let it flow. Life has a way of taking you exactly where you're meant to be.